You know, I hate to admit it, but I am wealthy. But when you think of that word, what do you think about? Oh, I'm wealthy. He's so arrogant. You think I'm talking about the cars, the houses, the money in the bank, right? That's not what I'm talking about at all. You see, wealth is more of a mindset. Wealth is more of your heart. When you try to think about wealth, I mean, why don't you just frame it and think about wealth a different way? And you know, I say this a lot when it comes to money. And I know you associate money with wealth and vice versa, and I get it. But money is just a tool. And money, I'll tell you this, money has a diminishing return. The more you make, the less happiness it brings. That is a proven fact. So if money doesn't make people happy, if things don't make people happy, then what's the point, right? What is wealth? Well, that's what we're going to talk about, the true meaning of wealth. So let's dive into this thing that we're all chasing called wealth. What is it? Well, you hear me talk about wealth, and you hear me talk about wealth in terms of money a lot. Because I talk about money. I talk about you learning to control your money. I talk about you becoming your own bank. But now let's flip the script, because to become your own bank, you have to change the way you think about money. Because money must be a tool. It isn't a thing that makes you happy. It's a tool that can get things done. It's a tool that can solve people's problems. It's a tool that you can use to buy things. But when we think about wealth, I really want you to think about how wealthy you really are. Because like I mentioned earlier, I am wealthy. I am wealthy. I'm wealthy because I have my health. My mom is healthy and alive. My daughter and my wife are both healthy and happy. I got a bunch of kitty cats, which we make really happy. Those things matter. I have relationships with my family, good ones. That's priceless, folks. You can't buy that. That is earned. That is something you work on day in and day out. Relationships. You know, another thing that makes you wealthy is when you're pursuing your worthy idea. When you're pursuing your dreams. When you're pursuing what you were put on earth to do. A lot of people stop pursuing their dreams and they conform. They just conform to somebody else's idea. They conform because that's what they think they have to do, because their idea isn't ever going to happen. Because their dreams, well, they're just dreams. No. When you give up on your dreams, when you stop creating, you start conforming. And when you conform, you're not chasing what it is you were put on earth to do. So you start losing happiness. A little bit every single day is taken from you. Folks, the one thing that I've learned is if you chase your dream, if you chase what it is you love to do, no matter what it pays you, you will be happier. I know a lot of very, very wealthy people that do things that they don't love to do, but they do them because they make a lot of money. And you know what? Usually, their family life is suffering, their relationships are suffering, they're not happy. I'll give you an example of someone in my family. She just got a job paying her more money than ever before. She's making more money than she ever has. And she is miserable. She is less happy than she was when she was making just enough to survive. Why? She's not doing something she loves. She took this job because it pays her more, not because it's chasing her pursuit. It's not because she's chasing her dream. It's because she got lured in to this job because of a paycheck, thinking that the money was going to make her happier. Folks, how many of you are living that life? Because that isn't the life of someone who's wealthy. Every day when I wake up, you know why I'm wealthy? Because I wake up in a home. I wake up and I go downstairs and there's food. I wake up and there is air conditioning on hot days and heat on cold days. Do you realize there's a lot of people in this world that don't have any of that? They're still happy. Money will never make you happy, ever. The more money you make, you will learn, and you won't learn this until you start doing this. The more money you make, the less important money is. The more important the things in life that are free become. Love, relationships, all the things that we have to pay nothing for, that we don't put any emphasis on, those become the most important things. I don't know why, but it should be flipped. I do know when I was a young man, when I was in my early 20s, I was chasing my dream of being a snowboarder. And you know what? I was happy. I made next to no money. I lived in a bedroom at a friend's house that I paid $150 a month for. I couldn't afford food, so I'd go pick mulberries in the summer, and that's what I would bring to wherever I was going. When I would travel, I did it on shoestring budgets. As a pro snowboarder, everything was a reimbursement. So going back to what I said, one of the most important things in your life is not wealth, is not money. It's the redefining of the word wealth that you need to focus on. Health, family, relationships, and the final and most important thing, time. Now, this is the one thing that I can tell you money, the tool, actually can do for you. You can buy time. Because many people in their lives, they do things that they don't love to do because, well, they can, and they don't want to pay somebody else to do something they can do, but they're not valuing their time. You see, the final piece to wealth is freedom of your time. And that's where money plays a major role. Because in your life, what you're taught to do with your money is you're taught to take and make your money. And how do you make money? Well, most people just trade hours for dollars. Think about it. Everything in most people's lives relates to how much am I going to get paid an hour. I'll be upfront with you. I haven't the slightest clue what I make an hour, and I haven't known what I make an hour for as far back as I can remember. I bet, maybe not now, but a decade ago, I'll bet you I probably made less than minimum wage per hour, but I didn't care because it was time well spent. It was time doing something I loved, whether it was my skateboard and snowboard shops or a new business venture or when I started money school or when I started private money club. All of those took a lot of time. I didn't work 9 to 5, folks. I would get up at 6. I would stay till 9 at night. I remember so many nights where I was still at the office, crunching, grinding, as some people would call it. And I didn't mind. I didn't sit there and look at the clock and be like, oh my God, I've been here all day and nobody's paying me for these hours. Of course I didn't say that. I was chasing my dream. I was pursuing my passion. So having time back has been the one thing that money has afforded me. The ability to get dry cleaning, the ability to do a lot of things that I used to spend my time doing that I didn't really love. I did them. In the moment, I would say, it's no big deal. But really, I would have much rather gone and swim a lake or go surfing or go skateboarding. And therefore, the final piece to the wealth equation is the one thing called time. The most precious thing you have. The most expensive thing you have because it never comes back. You can always make more money, but you can never get time back. So wouldn't it make sense to pursue your passion, your dreams, but to also do them in a manner where it self-perpetuates itself? So I found this verse and I think it's really relevant. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. I think that has a lot of relevance. Who do you serve? I'll be the first one to admit it. I chased money for a lot of my life. I made money a really important part of my life. And I did it in the wrong way because I gave up a lot. I gave up a lot of time that I should have spent with family. I did a lot of things in pursuit of chasing money that then made me lose sight of God. I never ever pushed God out, but I made money way too important. You see, one of the things that I've learned, if you want true wealth, all you need to do is solve somebody else's problem. And you need to give first. Always give first. Because if you take and then say, when I get, I'll give, that isn't the way it works. You will never, ever find wealth. In either capacity, whether you're thinking of wealth as money or you're thinking of wealth in all the things that we get for free that we do not value. Well, with all that background noise, because the machines are running and we're painting the building, I wanted to take a second and just pause and ask you to subscribe to this channel. Just click that button, and there's a little bell. That's the bell. This is Wilson. I did this before, but I want to do it again. You see, Wilson is nothing more than our little buddy here. But Wilson is also the one that we want to smash, just like that little bell, so that you're notified every single time we put a new video up. So let's transition this into the money side of it. You see, I learned something many, many years ago, actually over a decade ago, called the infinite banking concept. Now, it was just a process, that's all it was. A lot of people want to make it a product called the whole life policy, but the whole life policy is just the machine. Think of it as, this machine that you keep hearing rev up. It's just a machine that's there to do a job. The more efficient the machine, the more powerful the machine, the faster the job can get done. That's all the whole life should ever be, is the machine that you run your money through. The process, which is the infinite banking concept, allows you to be in control of your money. It allows your money to continually work for you. We have gone through life trying to make our hour worth more so that we got paid more for that hour. We never, ever, ever should have done that. But that's just how it's been ingrained in us. It's how we've been taught. Well, throughout life, how much are you gonna make? 25 an hour when you're younger, then it's 30, then it's 40, then it's 100. It doesn't matter what you make per hour, it isn't enough. So stop trying to think your hour is worth something and start thinking that your real target, your real goal is chasing your dream, or your real goal is buying back time. So here's the thing about time. You can't make any more of it. So if you're always trading hours for dollars, you will never, ever find your path to wealth. And this is what the wealthy individuals have learned. You see, the only way to truly find wealth and stay wealthy is to make your money work for you, because your money, the tool, does not have limitations called time. Your money can work 24/7. It does not need to eat, does not need to take breaks, does not get sick. It will work 24/7, and it will never complain. But is your money working for you, or is your money working for someone else? And here's the answer. Sorry, I don't even want you to think about that, because the answer is purely wrong. The answer is your money's working for someone else. Because what have you been taught to do? You have been taught to trade your time for money, and then you give your money, the control of it, to a traditional bank. You give control of your money to Wall Street. You give your money up to someone else, and then someone else controls it, and someone else makes your money go to work for them. Think about it. It's simple. This is not complicated, folks. Your money, when you put it into the bank, is working for who? Put it in the comments. Your money is not working for you at that point. I'll prove it. When you put your money in the bank says it will pay you interest. Let's call that 3%. Most of you are not getting 3% in your bank account, but let's just say you found a really good bank that pays you 3%. Now, if you wanted to buy something and you wanted to borrow money from the bank, what would they do? Well, they would make a loan to you at a higher interest rate than what they pay you. If they pay you 3, they might charge you 7. And what do they make? A spread in the middle. They combine everybody's deposits, and that's what they lend. Forget about fractional reserve banking. The bank is making your money and everybody else's money, the deposits, work for them by lending it back to you. The bank's in control, and the bank is making your money work for them instead of the other way around. So that's where the story starts. You want to change things, you want to transition, you want to buy back your time, your money must work for you. And the only way I know for that to happen is for you to change where your money goes first. Instead of putting it in the bank, which we already know the outcome, change where it goes. And what we have found, what the late R. Nelson Nash discovered and talked about in his book, Becoming Your Own Banker, is if we change where our money goes and we put it into a better machine, a more efficient machine where we control it, that machine is a whole life insurance policy from a mutually owned life insurance company that pays dividends. Key word, mutually owned. Because if the insurance company is not mutually owned, you are not sharing the same fundamental values. Because if it's a publicly traded company, who's in control? The stockholders. If it's mutually owned, who owns the company? The policyholders do. That's why they pay you a dividend. You see, by changing where your money goes first, and then, most importantly, learning the process so that your money works for you 24/7, that's the key. You want to buy a car, you want to buy a boat, you want to renovate houses and flip them, you want to buy a new house, you should become the bank. That's the process. Now, in today's video, I'm not going to go into the infinite banking concept. You can learn that on all my other videos, but it's just a circle. Think of it. If your money starts on the left side of the circle and goes over to the right, that's called the opportunity zone. That's where you buy cars and boats and pay off debt and invest money and do all those things. But then whatever your money earns over there, or whatever you would have given away to somebody else's bank, i.e. principal and interest payments to a bank for a loan you took for them, if you financed the things in your life and you made payments back to yourself, the bottom part of the circle, if your money went around the circle like this, bought things, paid off things, invested in things, and you took all of those earnings from this and you moved them back to the place where they came from, you are now in control. And if you did that using a specially designed and engineered whole life policy from a mutually owned life insurance company that pays dividends, boy, that's a mouthful, your money never stopped earning the entire time. You never lost any earning potential. It's called uninterrupted compounding interest. And also, remember how I said a bank makes money on a spread? That's how you make money using the infinite banking concept. You effectively will take back the banking functions in your life. In other words, you will be in control, you will leak no money to anybody else, and your money will work for you 24/7. So let's summarize everything we talked about. We started with me telling you that I am wealthy, which I am. But I am not wealthy because of the money in the bank and all these things that I have. I am wealthy because of things like health, family, happiness, and freedom of time. Those are the things you need to focus on. You want to be wealthy? Turn the light switch on and realize that those lights that just came on, most people don't have in the world. When you're hot and you turn the air conditioner up, those are luxuries. When you get in your bathtub and it's warm water, or you get in your shower and it's warm water, those are luxuries. That's wealth. When you give your daughter or son a hug, that is true wealth. When you have family members that are still alive and with you that you can tell them you love them, that is wealth. Stop thinking wealth comes in material things, because I'll tell you, when you're on your deathbed, you won't care about any of the material things. You will not care about the cars, the houses, the money in the bank, because none of it goes with you, but the relationships, the love you shared in your life, those things will live forever. Your mark in this world is not the things you own. It's the things that you share, the time you spend, the relationships you build, and the times you say, I love you. Those are the things that matter. Your relationship with God. Decide who you're going to serve, because you can't serve two masters. The one you should be serving is God. But when you serve God, it's very simple. All you need to do is lead with giving first. That is it. Love and giving is where it starts. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have, I want you to check this video out right here. This video will show you how to pay off debt, get all the money back for all the cars. It will teach you the infinite banking concept. With that being said, thanks for joining me. Chase true wealth.